Hello, lovely people. I'm Sinead, and welcome. I have been working on a fair number of projects, birthday present that I am not going to share just in case, and um, a gold dress for Nima, and she's not presentable right now because she's been trying it on, but we're down to handwork. We're almost there, and I've also made a lot of progress on my knitted pants, but again, I had to set them aside because there's this birthday present that needs to be finished. A deadline on that one. But I wanted to do a beading project today with you. And I don't know if I'll get it finished for you, but we'll make a good start. So let's turn this camera around and get started. What I'd like to do today is to create a type of prayer bead that it doesn't have to be necessarily for prayer in the strictest sense, but it can be a focus, a string of beads for focus. Many cultures, many different religions have beads for that purpose. This here is a Catholic rosary that I made many years ago. And I know that there are other religions, significant strings of beads, and they use numbers that are significant to their beliefs. Today, I'm going to make one that suits me, and so it does not have the traditional numbers of any other group, I don't think. One of the things you can do, you customize this to what you need, what you want. You want to make a traditional rosary, you can use these methods to make a traditional rosary, or I'm drawing a blank on the other prayer beads that I've had, but I can't remember the significance, which group, any of it. Nothing's coming forward. It's so sad. Anyway, so for the method I'm using, you need some kind of wire. This is 18 gauge copper wire that I'm going to use, and you'll need a pair of pliers, preferably with the round tips. I have two different styles. I should probably show you the other pair. Let me get those. This pair makes 3 different size loops. You can use it to actually do chainmail and that sort of thing, if to regulate the size. So you grip the wire in there in the plier and then twist it around the size that you want, and it makes a really nice circular piece. And if you don't like the way it's turned out, it also does a fair job of letting you straighten that back out. Getting it, I just find any pair of pliers, if you can get it in there where it's flat, in the flat area, you can take out a lot of the bends that you put in. Copper is not, is going to show more of the bends that you put in. It's going to retain more of those because it is a softer metal. A steel and some others don't retain that wiggle in the wire as bad. It's easier to take it out. So what I am going to do here is put the bead on the wire, then I am making the connection loop to go to the next wire, and then we're going to see if I can guesstimate by using kind of the bead and the plier to figure out the next spot length. And yeah, that's about right. So I used the pliers, so it's cutting edges on this side and it's kind of hollow on this side. So setting it up with the bead on the hollow side, but not into the hollow side, and cutting that length, that just the width of the plier gave me the length I wanted. And then as you get it onto the next section, you know, connected the beads together, you can tuck that in. You can also do some wire wrapping if you wanted to, create longer sections. But anyway, what I'm doing here is creating sections of 13 onyx beads to represent the 13 moons of the year. Let's see if wow, coordination may be off today. But it's a little easier if you kind of put it together as you go. That way you're not bending and rebending. And I've left this end one a little bit open because I will, look at what I've gone and done. I forgot to put the bead on there. And that means that I'm going to have to guesstimate. Hopefully that's right. If I got it wrong, I guess I get to do it again. And this is the kind of project that takes a really long time. Really long time is not a good. That's not a good descriptor, actually. I think my youngest just did a very similar project. They spent their majority of their day on it. Not the whole day, but the majority. Okay. Trying to make sure I get the side that's more, the link that is more closed, because I left the other end kind of open. And you can see already with just the 3 beads that where this is going, the style. I think I made this one a little longer. I don't know, maybe not. And I am trying to keep these loops a little on the smaller side. So once I have 13 of these put together, then I'm going to want a bead to be a singular bead with a bigger gap, and I'll probably put a chain link. Now I can either switch to something like this as the division between the 13 beads and the next 13 beads. I will only be doing 3 groups of 13. But I am kind of, these are, I want to say beach glass. They kind of make me think of beach glass, even if they aren't beach glass. And I kind of like the different feel of them, not, you know, like where you're coming up and it's a completely different shape than the round bead that you have with the onyx. So I am leaning towards using that as the divisions between the 13s. I'm also thinking about adding just little charms in these links. And you do that by, if you want to keep everything the same, you can just use the same wire. And hopefully this will go through that, the leaf over there without a problem. The leaf does come on a chain, and I have not looked at it close enough to see if it would work just to take off a section of it and put it into use. But I am going to do this first one. Well, I am going to attempt to do this first one by just putting these leaves on here, closing that mostly up, and then this time I'm going to see where I'm going here, and I'm going to just snip that. So I've got kind of a teardrop shape there, and you kind of want to get it more round than that. One way to do that is to just pinch it down like this from the top. But I also want to get it on here before I do that. Hopefully I don't drop everything when I go to do this. So I try to hold everything back out of the way. And bend that. And I just lost a leaf. And you just keep working at it until you get it bent around and closed. My pliers were in the way. Sometimes it helps if you have another set of pliers to kind of get it on here where you want it, and you can come in with the other set of pliers and maybe pinch it. Try not to break your beads or your other section of... Sometimes everything just slips. I'm not good with my left hand. I used to be okay with my left hand, but these days it just does not want to cooperate with me. I feel like that went a little closer. And there is a chance that you will pinch at it and you'll just open it back up. Anyway, those aren't going to stay on there. I might end up having to go and use jump rings for this because, you know, the kind that go around twice. Or I could make one. That actually helps. If you take and make 2 turns and make it like, well, a key ring like that, then you're pinching it this way, and that helps with the getting it to not lose the bead or the charm. And yeah, those ends are not probably as clean as I'd like them, but I don't know, that could totally work. I kind of wish I had my anvil in here, you know? So you'd take, and one day I might have to show you my anvil. It's, my step-grandfather was great for going to the garbage dump, you know, to the dump, and picking up stuff and salvaging it. And he was a mediocre at best carpenter, but he apparently had some skills, some metalworking skills, because he either knew somebody, you know, I'm just gonna allow that he may have just acquired this thing, but anyway, he got part of a railroad tie, and he either made it into an anvil or somebody else made it into an anvil. But all we know is that it was at one time not a railroad tie, the rail. See, I'm going and telling the story wrong. Railroad ties are the wooden part that are soaked in creosote. No, this is the metal rail from the line, or the tracks, from the tracks. He got a section of that and either made it into an anvil himself or knew somebody and they made it into an anvil. But anyway, that is my anvil, is that step-grandfather's piece of work. He was a taxi driver and a janitor for most of his adult life as a career. So he had a membership, you know, like the Carpenters Union, but the only surviving object that he ever made was a box that he put his tools in, and it was in such horrible initial construction shape that I took it apart because my thought was, well, maybe I can reuse the lumber in it because it's, you know, it's good old lumber. Well, I don't know what happened to that lumber. I don't know if it ever got used, because he'd painted it black to hide the fact that he'd done a horrible job. So I'm guessing his membership in the Carpenters Union didn't last that long, and that one membership card was like when he entered and, you know, joined, and they found out what he could or couldn't do, and said, maybe not. Hey, we're gonna just kind of let you go. I don't know. He had a lot of issues, that man, so we didn't keep his name. My father did, but I did not. So that bill or whatever it is they're trying to introduce so that you can't vote if your name doesn't match your birth certificate, well, I'm screwed. My name does not match my birth certificate at all. Not my first name, not my middle name, none of it. It's all been changed. Part of trying to start over and let go of a lot of the trauma of childhood that, you know, just left me in a mess. Sometimes that's jumpy. Sometimes the best solution is to just walk away. Sometimes you can't walk away. Well, I don't know. Today, this is just not working for me. I don't know whether it's because I'm trying to work with this heavier gauge or what, but it's just not working for me today. So I'm going to go over to my supplies and see what I've got. Okay, I have 2 different containers of inexpensive jump rings. These have the keychain double loop, and these do not. Since these leaves are so tiny, they would likely fall off of the ones that are just a single loop. So I won't be using them for the leaves. And then we're going to be mixing metals. We're going to use the gold colored or brass colored. And it looks like I got 2 different sizes in the same container. And every single pair of pliers I own has become magnetized. I'm not quite sure when that happened, or maybe it was just the fact that they sit in the same drawer with a screwdriver that I intentionally magnetized, but there we have it. And I've realized why I don't use the chain that these are on is because it's a closed chain. You cannot just open it, you have to cut it, and they don't close back up any better than the inexpensive jump rings. So you just kind of have to get in here and open it up, and then it's a pretty soft metal and it really opens up, and I just throw them out. And usually on these jump rings, I have a pair of pliers that kind of opens it up. It doesn't work all that great. I end up with hanging on to it, and I was just going to see if this leaf was small enough to get it in there, and it is, and it'd be easier than those pliers. So we're going to go that route. And I think I am going to stop here and get more of the beads strung together so I can show you the joins. Anyway, there's one started, and I'll get the other one on there eventually. One of the tips I would say with using a spool of wire and the beads is to go ahead and put like whatever number of beads you want in a section onto the piece of wire. It'll help you to get the right number, and then you put your loop down here in the end of this, slide the bead up, cut like I showed you, you know, with the measurement, and then do the other loop. And I was taking the end, and as I made the loop, I would go ahead and attach it to the previous bead so that I wasn't having to reopen it. The other thing that I wanted here was I only wanted 3 of these beads and then 13 between. So I brought this together here with the 2 jump rings, and we've got the bead oriented with the loop here, you know, going up and down instead of in line with the string to bring it together. And then you can use jump rings, more beads, or whatever you want, and either put on a medallion or not. I could have chosen to put this in line with the string instead of hanging it as for a medallion, and then it could have just been a circle like a necklace without anything hanging from it. But if you want to hang something and all you can find with the right symbolism, like say you wanted skulls and it was a bead with the hole through, like they also, I've seen beads, you know, where the hole is going up this way, and then you could put it in line like that. But like this could be used in hanging in the same way that I've got this bead on here, where you put the wire through and create a loop on top of the head and on the bottom of the head, and then it would be a skull in line here. Great for a Day of the Dead themed prayer beads. And then anything could be used for a medallion. I've got an owl on here to go with the nature theme of the oak leaf and the other leaves that I'll be adding on here. I have some pinnacles here that if I wanted to do something a little more where I connected into this, if it didn't have this piece here, say I had one that didn't have a loop on top, you could put rings into this and make it a 3-way connector. Not so much with this one, although there are openings in there, but it'd be kind of interesting to try that on there. And I don't have other symbols available to show you how you can use them, but jewelry that you're no longer wearing or that is coming apart, you can go ahead and take the beads off of whatever their findings are. That, like this one has a pin through with a flat end here and a loop at the top and some jewelry findings. I could just take this off and use it as a bead in here, and all of these could then become the different beads within the string. So yeah, just reuse. Go to the second hand, pick up some nice beads that you think are cool, and reuse them to make a string of beads for yourself. And also, you know, like I said before, this is to suit the purposes that you would like to use it for. This could just be a piece of jewelry. And you can put a little more effort into making these straight, like where it's more a round circle on either side of the bead, and not, mine has this kind of straight out of the thing with a loop on one side, and then I'd go straight out the other side and put the loop on the other side, and it altered. So yeah, just do whatever pleases you visually and have fun. And I hope that you have a delightful day and a wonderful week, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.